Hello students, welcome to the final part of participatory stakeholder engagement. Now I'm going to explain the detail about participatory stakeholder engagement. The first one is identifying key stakeholders. We'll be asking questions to ask in addressing these issues. First thing what you have to check is that who are the program or project targeted beneficiaries. Second, who might be adversely impacted. Third, will the project impact positively or negatively on any vulnerable group? Who are the project main supporters and opponents? Who is responsible for carrying out the planned activity? And who can contribute the financial and technical resources? So if you ask such question, you can identify to what category our stakeholders belongs. Next thing is accessing stakeholder interest and potential impact of the new initiative or subject of the interest. After identifying the key stakeholders, the next step is to analyze their interest. And what you have to do is that we have to check whether their new initiative is related to our area or not. For that, you can ask some questions based on this. See, what are the key concern and interest with respect to the project? What are stakeholders' expectation of the project? What conflict might a group of stakeholders have with a particular project strategy? And how do different groups of stakeholders relate to each other? And you have to check one more thing is that is there any divergence between the interest and expectation? Okay, so these all things have to be checked out. Now the third step is stakeholder prioritization. So the analysis of the stakeholders' interest and project impact should allow the project team to categorize different group of stakeholders. So first of all, we have identified the stakeholders, and depending upon their interest and the project impact, we have categorized different stakeholders. Now, to determine relative priority that the project should give to each stakeholder group interest, you have to ask some more questions to the participants. That is, who are the project's targeted primary beneficiaries? That is, who will be the primary beneficiaries? The local people who will be living over there. Now, what is the importance of the stakeholder group to the success of the project? So, what all importance the stakeholder gives for the success of your project? Next, what is the degree of influence of each stakeholder group over the project? How much the stakeholder can influence or can bring an influence on your project? So these all questions can be reviewed for stakeholder prioritization. Now the methods and tools for participatory stakeholder engagement. The first method, what you have to do is that you have to have a participatory meeting and workshop. See, whenever a flood reduction plan you are going to work out, first thing what you have to do, first you have to conduct a meeting and workshop on it. Okay. Next, we will have a panel discussion. In order to get a deeper discussion, we should have a panel discussion. Next is a pyramid scheme. In the pyramid scheme, what we do is, we will prepare a disaster reduction plan. What we do is, first we will present before every individual. Then, we will make a 2 groups and we will discuss. Then we will make a 3 groups and discuss. Finally, we will take a collective final decision on the disaster risk reduction plan. Next is you can conduct debates, round table, or you can have a participatory research, or you can have a data collection. Next, semi-structured interviewing, ranking, trends and time analysis should also be performed in this case. So here, what we are doing is, we are actually providing detailed discussion on disaster reduction plan. The next thing is level of stakeholder participation. You can see 6 levels of stakeholder participation in this. So here, in designing a participatory process, the level of involvement of stakeholder is very necessary, and it depends on the given institutional framework, and it may differ and should also be defined. Now, different levels would require involvement of different stakeholders. See, in each and every level, you have different types of stakeholders, and experience shows that involving all stakeholders to participate fully in all decision making stage is neither realistic not useful in a given situation. And each stakeholder has a specific role to play and can be said to have an orbit influencing with respect to particular activity. Okay, so you can have a level of stakeholders. So this is the orbit, and the first one you can see here, the first one, the center of the orbit, it's actually decision making stakeholders. So orbit 1 contains a stakeholder who are the partners in decision making. The final decision must be made with their concurrence. So ministers are the final decision maker here. Okay. Second, you can see that second orbit consists of creators, okay, who are deeply involved in decision being made and in developing alternatives, and therefore they are constantly involved. So creators are constantly involved. See, whenever disaster has happened at a particular place, the government official will be coming there and they will be taking a note on the situation which has happened over there. Finally, it will be given to the ministry level that has the power of decision making. So, creators are the people who provides all the necessary matters that can be approved at the ministry level. Okay. Now, third one is advisors. See, third orbit is advisors. Advisors who are active but not constantly involved and are called upon periodically for advice. See, they help the creators, or a creator needs some advices. So they will be asking the experts on the scientific and engineering advices. Next one is reviewer. Reviewer provides review about the plan, whether the plan has to be revised or not, and he will also give the opinion about whether it is good or bad. So however, they do not feel the need to be active throughout the process. They are those who wish to be kept informed before decision becomes a policy, rule or law. Now the orbit 5 contains observer. Observers are who look from outside. If there is any problem, they will react towards it. Okay, so these are the people who do not want to be surprised. They watch and react only if an issue concerns them. However, they could be party to the process but not entirely involved. Then you can see that the last one is unsurprised apathetic. They are outside of the orbit. They are not actually involved in it, but they raise their voice when they are surprised and they feel threatened. Then there is one more thing which is involved in it, the model of stakeholder participation. See this is the model of the stakeholder participation, and this model is called as Einstein's ladder of citizen participation, and this model is used to model this stakeholder participation. You can see 8 ruts or 8 stairs which defines the level of the power. Stairs consist of manipulation, therapy, informing, consultation, plugation, partnership, delegated power and control. Here you define the power of the stakeholder. It's the first and second, that is therapy and manipulation. It's passive participation or non-participants. It consists of a community forum of some media and all. Next is informing, consultation, plugation. So it is actually an interactive participation. Here a mass community of high-level citizen jury is formed. They focus on the project discussion. It deals with the opportunity of the citizen to hear and be heard and engage in the consultative bargaining. So it will be having a degree of tokenism. Next is functional participation, and it comes under 6th, 7th and 8th step, that is partnership, delegated power and control. It basically is the degree of power of a citizen. So here a teamwork or project group or team will work together to have a collective decision. So here there will be a collective decision will be taken, and what happens here is there will be a partnership formation between ordinary citizen and the power holder. So based on this model, we can model the stakeholder participation. Okay, so this is the end of our stakeholder participation. In the next class we will study about the disaster communication.